Great. So if I did, now this is the advertising statement, okay? On the cancer book, the major part is the first 100 pages is basically all really new, and it looks at risk factors, and it probably affects your immune system, and even vision is highly affected by that. And so it has suggestions or looks at the data of factors that affect you. And then what you can do about it. That is lifestyle, diet, environmental pollutants, etc., the whole long list, and then also self-care strategies. So that is the purpose of that book. The other book that's circulating around is called Tech Stress. That's totally different. That looks specifically at the epidemic we have of people getting poor vision or neck and shoulder tension because we look at these digital devices the whole time, at screens. And so I totally agree with Mayer that looking at screens is harmful. If I think of what I can potentially contribute to Mayer or to your training is that Mayer, that's whole Mayer's perspective, that you have more control over your healing than you think at times. And that how we use ourselves changes our vision and our health. That's also the same part. I'll introduce myself. I'm Erik Peper. I am now an emeritus professor at San Francisco State. I taught for 50 years there doing research on and teaching of strategies to mobilize your health.
What's the meaning of the word emeritus? I forgot.
It means now I technically have retired at State, and then you keep all the privileges of being a professor at the university. You keep the but you don't teach. So, but to follow up on your question, so I've been intrigued.
More the personal, yeah.
Yes. Specifically about cancer, I'll do two of them.
Yeah.
Was in 1972, 71, I had a grant to study spontaneous remission of cancer.
There's such a thing?
There's such a thing. That is and that was a bibliographic search. So I searched the literature, came up these hundreds of citations where people, very well documented, where people had some forms of cancer, stage 4 cancer. Some as a surgeon opened them up, they looked inside, they closed them right back up. And then 10 years later, the person died of a heart attack. And so every cancer has probably a possibility of remission. Some very low, some much higher, but it exists. And it doesn't mean so that's my interest in saying we are more than just our genetics. Mm-hmm. So if you think of genetics, you can think some things are very genetic. You know, I think in your family, I think Mayer, cataracts is a genetic predisposition, correct?
My kids got it.
Yes, and some things it's very high, but in most cases, genetics is only a risk factor. Mm-hmm. So if you're myopic as a child and your parents wear glasses, it doesn't totally mean you have to wear glasses, although we tend to think, like for me, my mother wore glasses, therefore I wear glasses. And then I say, my parents had weak eyes, genetically. I'm putting it into the incorrect language. But if I think of it differently, then I could say as a little kid, I would always lie on the couch or chair and read books this close the whole time. Mm. And I once, in Holland, when I was a little boy, I finished the whole children's or the book library at that time. So I spent a lot of time looking close, and now taking the model which I think of Mayer would agree with. It's like I'm training my eyes to only look at a narrow distance. And we now know that if you go to Singapore, and you see in Singapore 80% of young people now are myopic, nearsighted, and need to wear glasses. Because they live in smaller homes, the wall is only that far, and they look at screens and schoolwork all the time. So their eyes do not alternate between far and near sight, looking far away. Yep. And so how you use yourself, really, the way you use yourself creates the structure. Or to say structure limits use, and use creates the structure. And so that is a dynamic modeling that occurs our whole life. And then I think of Mayer's practices. He is saying, hey, if I use myself differently, then my eyes can change, or my body can change. And that's an underlying theme of my interest. And the area which I've been involved with is biofeedback, where you monitor from your body and reflect it to yourself, and potentially you can see how you're reacting. And most people have no idea how they're behaving, It's just like, some people get pissed off, and you say you're angry. I'm not angry. I mean, because we are captured by our amygdala, or if we get very excited or frustrated, as if our frontal cortex disappears. We don't have much awareness. And we shouldn't have awareness. That's a funny way of saying it. Because if I'm walking through the jungle and I see a saber-toothed tiger over there, I shouldn't be aware that I'm holding my breath or tightening up. I just want to mobilize my body to get activated so I can run away. The challenge is that we now often react in similar ways, even though it's not dangerous. And now we live, and the same thing with vision. My guess would be, I live in a world where the wall is all this close, the screen is this close, but if you go to hunting and gathering societies, they would be looking nearby, they would be looking far away, they would be near. So they continually oscillate back and forth. And now we live in a world where we only look at this distance, or we use artificial lights. And the artificial lights are really the incomplete spectrum. There's very good data now that, for example, sunlight, which you all say, oh, don't be in the sun, you're going to get skin cancer, right? Well, that is true to a slight extent. You don't want to get burns. That's a big distinction. Burns are very harmful. But basically getting a tan, yes, my skin looks older, and I've had also many burns as a kid, and it's true. There is some slight damage, but we tend to get basal cell, right? Which are not very dangerous generally. They get a little spray, liquid nitrogen can take it away. But basically, sunlight is not just light, it's the UV light. But what is even more important, which we don't talk about, is the infrared light. The infrared is which we are unaware of. That's the heat we feel, and there are certain spectra which activate our mitochondria in our bodies and heal it. And so there's good evidence, even in cancer, that people who get more sunlight have lower cancer rates, paradoxically. You would not have expected that. And in melanoma, which is the worry people have, is not correlated very well to where the body gets sunlight. You can have melanoma on places where the sun never touches. So the concept which Mayer talks about in one of his practices is do the sunning of the eyes, remember? Yeah. Don't look at it straight, because then it burns the retina. Close your eyes and get this. You're really getting not as much the light going in, you get the infrared that goes into your eyes and into your skin. It goes not all the way through, but to a certain, and that in fact is healing. And it's interesting that if you now look at heart attack rates or cancer rates, or there are many other illnesses, like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's disease, that there is evidence now that if you expose yourself to a lot of heat, you have lower Alzheimer's disease, lower heart disease, and that comes from the studies in Finland. You have to ask, where does the data come from? How can I generalize? So the data comes from multiple studies out of Finland, where almost everybody has a sauna. And now these studies were not done for these disorders, it was done for heart disease, because Finns have a high heart disease rate historically. And so people thought this was because of the saunas. Because the sauna, you stress your body, but what's interesting is that's not what the data is. It is their poor diet. And when they looked at the people, so now you look at 48,000 people who all, you followed for 30 years, and it's only accidental that they now look at, and then you see the high sauna users versus the low sauna users. So a high sauna user uses it about every other day, and a low sauna user uses it maybe once a week or less. They all have their own sauna, and now they're balanced for age, gender, and all that stuff, so it's pretty well. And then you see that people who use the sauna a lot have significantly lower Alzheimer rates, heart disease rates, and even cancer rates. And part of the reason, and it could just be, not because, to be cynical, not because of the heat, it could just be anybody who can take 3 evenings a week off to sit in meditation in the sauna, maybe that's it. It is not that it works out. It is probably the heat exposure, the infrared exposure that goes into the skin as well. And that comes from a single subject, confirmation. there's a patient who has the genetic, who has the gene for Alzheimer's, not just one. There's a gene, AP, I forgot the name is, that if you have that gene, you have a higher risk for Alzheimer's. But then it's only a risk. Lifestyle and behavior,
Impacts,
the way you can say it is the genetics loads the gun, your lifestyle and behavior pulls the trigger. And that trigger can start already in your when you were still inside your mother developing as an infant. That's rare. So it's very common. But in this one subject nobody understands. It's a man who, whole family, it's a genetic mark. They have both genes. He has both genes. He should be getting Alzheimer's at age 50. All his relatives got it. His grandparents, his parents, his brothers, he didn't. At age 70, he still has total clarity of mind. Nobody understood that. And then they checked his job. Any idea what his job was?
Saunas.
Close to it, he worked in the machine room or the engine room of a big ship for 30 years, where the temperature was usually 40 degrees centigrade.
Wow.
So he would often have to leave the room and cool him off with a bucket of water. So it's probably the pulsing that you get, because when you heat, you have a vasodilation and then the constriction that increases the circulatory pattern. And that is probably the key, the cleansing of the brain, and even for your heart disease. It's, you want alternations. But let me go, I wasn't going to talk about this.
So sauna and cold plunge is recommended.
Probably, yes.
Could I ask just one question on
Sure.
this? Do all saunas have infrared? I mean, Perspire Sauna Studios and
They vary. You'd have to look at
they're specifically advertise infrared.
You want to advertise for the infrared component.
In Sweden.
Well, in Sweden they don't know. In Finland they don't. The heat itself is an infrared component. Heat is that.
I see.
Heat is the frequency. If you look at a fire, the red glow, and underneath that red glow, that is the heat you feel, and that is the infrared component.
Because it's a real fire.
Yes, but it also can be electrical. It makes a difference.
I see. So, but there still are some saunas that are not infrared, probably.
No, I think all saunas would have that. It's the heat itself. That's different than a steam room, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, but people haven't done the study.
Okay.
But now let me go back. So that's background.
Just small question, if you don't mind.
No, yeah.
People who don't have genetic risk for Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, can they get it because of environment and lifestyle?
Yes.
For environment and lifestyle.
Easily.
Okay, thank you.
So that leads to the part which applies for your eyes as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure Mayor has talked about food at one time or another.
Not yet.
We've just
Yet to go there.
We've just
Okay, then I'll make a comment about food. And that I think applies. The human being, think back in the 17th, 16th, 17th century, and for all of evolution, how much pure sugars did people eat?
Zero.
No, they ate a little bit. They had some honey and other things, right? They were sweet.
That's not pure sugar.
I know, but you're so fussy. No, but you're right. However, it's still, in our bodies, it's close. We now eat 150 pounds a year. And then the other part is the food we eat. Is, if you ate the original diet, your grandparents ate, even though it may seem limited, was probably healthier than the diet you eat now, because now it's ultra-processed. Ultra-processed means, in some sense, it contains additives, which are totally new chemicals. It is highly ground, so finely ground, it's like a powder. It contains pesticides and herbicides. And what is a herbicide and pesticide? It is a chemical to stop biological growth. And, life, we are highly complex organisms, but basically, the way I now say it is, I used to eat a lot of junk food. Now I eat high quality junk food every so often. Diet, so I would say look at your diet, get rid of all ultra processed foods as much as possible. That's the whole center section of the grocery store. Only eat the periphery. And then I would say, if you can afford it, eat organic meats, or if you eat meats or fish, and not farm-raised fish, and veggies, organic veggies. I love bagels myself, especially when they're seeded and all that stuff, and onion. However, the reality is a bagel, especially the modern flour, it's different than even 40 years ago. That the flour is very finely ground. You get a nice bagel, but when it comes into your mouth, the moment the simple carbohydrates of the flour come in your mouth, the amylase is released in the saliva that breaks down the simple carbohydrates in pure glucose or sugar, so it breaks it down. And then so you're ingesting yourself. So one thing, if you're intrigued in that, then you can do some simple glucose monitoring and see what it is. We know that people who are pre-diabetic, that's almost 1/3 of the US population now, or will be, that they are significantly at risk for diabetes. And diabetes is a risk factor for cancer. Diabetes is a risk factor for poor vision. Am I right?
Woohoo.
Disasters, and many others. So that is where lifestyle occurs. Piece we're unaware of, and I'll start with the diet, is how diet affects us. Till it's almost too late. You may know how diet affects you. All of a sudden you eat a cake, and then 2 hours later, all of a sudden you crash. Is that familiar to any of you? Mm-hmm. That means you're probably almost pre-diabetic. I'm exaggerating. And so that means that, but most of the time we don't know that. In terms of the diabetes component, or you can get a continuous glucose monitor. Are you familiar with those? Mm-hmm. And that can use as a feedback device in which you can now see, after I eat something, what happens to my glucose? When I exercise, and I know Mayer is always very much, and I happen to agree, to do exercise after eating and stuff, it will lower your glucose. It also depends what you eat. If you eat proteins and fats first, and then have some dessert, the response is less than if you do the inverse. Okay? But the key is we're really unaware of these fluctuations. And for survival, we shouldn't be aware, because we need to produce. When I'm sitting here, I should not be aware that I'm tightening my back or going like this. But we learn these patterns. And one of the patterns we learn, for example, if we do automatically at the computer. How many of you work computers sometimes, right? All of you? And what do you do when you sit in front of your computer? You go like this, right? Mm-hmm. Or you look down like that, am I correct? Yeah. And then you get captured, and then an hour or 2 hours pass, and all of a sudden by the evening you have tightness in your neck and shoulders, and when you leave the computer screen, you look outside and the world is more fuzzy.
Yeah.
Am I correct? For some people.
Yeah.
Or it's harder to focus for a moment at a far distance. And we are unaware that we do that. And so biofeedback is superb for that. To make you aware. So let me give the principle of biofeedback using a simple biofeedback device. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Who wants to be a guinea pig? And these devices, I make no money on, by the way. These are called Upright Go 2. Upright Go space number 2. Okay. I was involved when they first developed it early on. For a moment, just make it normal. Mm-hmm. No, not too much, just a normal posture. Mm-hmm. Great. There you are. Now bend forward. Mm-hmm. You see how that goes around? Mm-hmm. Now sit up.
Yeah.
Okay. And now let's see, the vibration is on. Now bend forward a little bit. That's enough. Stay there for a moment.
Oh.
And it vibrated, right?
Yeah.
Now come back up. You don't have to go as far, just do it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's enough, take a look. And then you will vibrate.
It vibrates, yeah.
And that reminds you, I have just sat down.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So then you immediately straighten up.
Well, some people do, or the other. There are many things you can do.
Yeah.
The key is, one, why do I slouch forward?
Yeah.
I can't see.
Yeah.
I need glasses, I need rest, I need to change the screen.
Yeah.
2, I have a hopeless thought. I feel depressed. That's 2. 3, I cross
I'm
my
very
leg.
excited.
Yes, so,
Yeah.
I'm tired. I tend to collapse. So it gives you just the information.
Cross your leg, it gets red?
Usually for most people, let's just sit normally.
Mm-hmm.
Just cross your legs for a moment. It usually will go, sorry. It varies, go like women do, a little higher maybe. Often, most cases, people tend to slouch more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about the posture, not
It only measures the angle of the sensor. So you have to adjust it. Does that You know, it's like if some people sit too tall when they start,
Yeah.
and no, but you have to be normal. However, it's the concept, that's the concept of biofeedback, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what happens is you're sitting here or working, unknowingly you're
When I'm looking up also it's beeping.
it varies how it sets. No, it doesn't
Ah.
do that. It
Oh.
can. It may be set up so it vibrates. So if I keep looking at the screen, you're still so now sit up straight more.
Ah,
You see? What you did is you collapsed the event like this.
yes. I was doing this and looking up.
And then
yeah.
do it again, this posture. Feel the tension in your neck. No, just keep being aware.
Yeah.
Now exaggerate it. Tilt your head back. Now crush down with your neck. Can you feel the tension more?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what you were doing there.
Ah, wow.
So, did that make
I'm glad we did ladies first.
Oh, wait till we come to you next.
Yeah.
That is the concept. So in that sense, what you did unknowingly,
Yeah.
if I model, okay, ideally I'm sitting and now I'm working and I look at the screen more and notice how I collapse in here and then I go like that. And I put the sensor not at this part here, I put it a little bit lower where it collapses.
Right.
So you have to set it up on your spine to make it appropriate. And you can also change the sensitivity.
Oh, I think I need this. Because
Yeah, so now you're like this.
Yeah.
That's tall.
I was sitting like
And notice, can you feel how you now?
Yeah.
And if you and notice you just get taller. So if I look
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
you're just taller here, and now you slouch a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
And notice when you do that, this is just the part where Mayer would always say you need to learn to relax your neck and shoulders.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? You can feel the vibration.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now you may have to adjust the sensor.
yeah,
It has to be right for you at this moment.
Yeah.
And one way to solve that on these chairs for you is if you had a support here.
Yeah.
Now lean against my hand here.
Yeah.
Is that easier?
Yeah.
You see? Then you can stay more. After a while, your spine will get tired if you sat like that without the support here.
Yeah, yeah,
And so what you do the moment you get tired, you let yourself slouch. Does this?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And notice when you slouch what you just did. Is that right?
Yeah, totally.
You were totally unaware that after a little while, when you get tired, you go, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm going to way exaggerate the
Yeah.
movements, you know. I'm sitting up. Ideally, if I have a nice support here, I can lean against it. That would be at my kidneys almost. But I don't. I sit in these chairs, and I slightly slouch, and I go, ugh. And that's more than you do. And that's what many people do. But you can see the compression you get in here. That for some people, that will affect the blood flow, and it will also affect their eyes. Because what's here? All of you just put your fingers in your neck, against like this. Let them float and feel the softness of the muscles, okay?
Me, used to
You
here.
do that? And now move your eyes to the extreme right and to the extreme left.
Wow,
You can feel the neck tightening, right?
shocking.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's normal, because I mean, normally, what is the purpose of vision? If it's a saber-toothed tiger there, I'm going to look and I have to turn my head to that direction. So these are reflexes, but we don't know it. But basically, remember, when we look at something, there's a tiger over there.
Yeah,
What do I do? Do I go like this? No, I rotate and look.
yeah,
That's the automatic patch, the whole train of motor coordination. We're unaware of it. So when we work at the computer or we look around, we go like this, unknowingly we tighten our necks,
interesting.
okay? And we're unaware of it.
Yeah,
Imagine doing it all day long.
Yes, and there's no problem with doing it all day long, as long as you tighten and let go. The only function of muscles is to contract for a moment and then to let go. For example, as you're sitting, just for a moment, lift your right knee up a little bit so your foot is off the ground. You can't have any weight on the ground of the foot. And after a while, you're feeling some achiness in the hip, is that right?
right here.
How long could you do this?
About another minute.
Well, it depends how much I pay you. Let it go. But why did you feel the pain?
Because you're not used to holding your leg up like that.
Stiff here for some reason.
Not quite.
Here?
It is that muscles, when the muscle contracts, 20%, it shuts the blood flow off by 80% approximately. So you're reducing the blood flow. You have used up, you're producing lactic acid in a sense, or other products of metabolism to make the muscle work. The circulation is compromised for that moment. So the waste products build up and it gets a reduction in oxygen and the sugars needed.
All of that, I just felt it as a little pain, and I thought that, it's because I'm not strong or flexible or
No.
something.
So that is the biology more of it.
Yeah.
We experience that as pain, discomfort. But most of you, I noticed, you went for lunch today, right? You walked outside. And some of you can walk for miles. Sometimes you have a hip replacement problem and all that stuff. But most of us, we can walk for a couple of miles. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you have no problem. It's the same muscle. But why don't you have problems when you're walking versus when we just did a little exercise?
Because the movement is affecting that cycle of that lactic acid production and
So basically,
Inherently, or because we do it so seldom?
no, it's purely, it's a concept the reason is when I walk, I'm going to do the same muscle. I'm going to have to tighten this muscle a little bit to bring the leg forward, right?
And then it relaxes.
Then I drop the foot, then the muscle gets really soft.
Oh, I
It
see.
relax, so it alternates tightening
I see.
and letting go. Tightening and letting go. So we're doing the tightening for a moment, the veins in there or the capillary, they're all being squeezed, that's no problem. And then I let go, the blood can go on, click. And then we can do it forever. Well,
so that means this too, if I just raise it up and down, up and down.
do that. You can just go up and down, it's boring like hell.
Yeah.
Eventually, your muscle is not used to that much work and that
yeah.
shortening, but that's a different piece.
Yeah.
Then the next morning, if you do this for 20 or 30 minutes, tomorrow morning this feels a little bit sore.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's a different perspective.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And that's what happens when we work as well, because we tighten our neck that way. We look like this. We don't know it at that moment. By the end of the day, we have neck and shoulder tightness. That is one. And also, when your head is forward like this,
Yeah.
the weight is like 60 pounds. Because
Interesting.
it's a fulcrum.
Yeah.
And I'm like this, I'm only about 10 or 12 pounds. But then, just like on a
Oh
seesaw,
my God.
the more I go forward, now these muscles tighten, you're not aware of it, but they have to do much more chronic work.
I'm not aware of it in real time, but I'm aware of it as a general pattern that has reshaped me.
Yes, and then you can change it. It's no different than any of the exercises Mayer's taught you, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Palming. And if I think of palming now in the same model, I've used my eyes, now I palm and I let myself be at rest. I see black for a moment, and we never see blacks anymore. But when you're sitting like you're doing, I don't know your name.
Bina.
Bina.
Bina. You sit like this, like right now.
Yeah.
Notice how I'm slouching, collapsing.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me do a little study with all of you. Is that all right?
Yes.
Totally different. I'd like you to take a big breath. And then let it go. Now take another big breath. And let it go. And what part of your body moved? Put your hand on your chest, hand on your stomach. And now take a big breath. But-
Chest moved back. Stomach.
For me, it's
Yeah.
between the stomach and
Yeah,
the
you
chest.
did it more in your chest even. Both of you did it more into you. I don't know your name,
Arnie.
Arnie. You probably had more movement here. Am I right?
I had a moment there too.
You had it more here, basically. Both of you. So
My stomach also moved.
and stand up for a moment, and then the feet. All of you, you can do it just now. Now take a big breath, and then let it go. And how many found that when you inhaled, you got bigger or taller, slightly?
I didn't feel it.
And when you exhaled, you got slightly smaller. Take a big breath again. And you found that when you get down, you get smaller, right? Okay.
Oh. I just
So
got a little
basically-
tickle on the neck during that.
What?
Just while that was happening, I got a little tickle on my neck.
Yes. Because it's a startle response. That's a startle response.
Yeah.
And you're not really aware you did that to that noise. You may be aware or not. People vary.
Yeah.
And what biofeedback does, it makes the invisible visible. That's all. And so here's a simple device which I would recommend. It takes a while to get the feeling for it, where to place it. You need to adjust the sensitivities. It is a cell phone app. It works quite well.
Right.
The piece I want to observe is that many because when we slouch like this, we tend to have more difficulty breathing. Or not difficulty. We wouldn't be aware that we have difficulty.
Sure.
But breathing is constricted. Is that
I
correct?
definitely know I have shallow breathing.
Yes.
Yes.
And
I've
so
never sat up this straight for this long.
you don't want you please wiggle.
I see.
Okay, the key is never to be frozen.
I see.
I don't mean wiggle is
Be straight but not frozen.
yeah, you want to just be free and loose, you know.
Free and loose, but if I'm not upright, I get
You know, it's like there's no danger here,
Yeah.
hopefully.
So I was at the Serum
But it is like you want to think of
Yeah.
there's a force at the back of the head that pulls you up. And most of us go like this, make ourselves tall. But if you look at my spine, if I make myself tall this way, in fact, I'm taller. If I make myself tall by making my eyes tall, I shrink. But I have the perception I'm taller.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a little bit what you...
Yes,
you-
that was what I was, yes.
And that leads to many other things, because when I do that, I collapse like this. That means my breathing is constricted without me knowing anything. So really, if you look at babies breathe, and if you have kids or...
Grandkids, yeah.
Okay, you have grandkids, how old are they?
Well, now they're 8 and 12.
Oh, they're too old.
Yeah, too old.
Yeah, but you remember, when they were little, 2 or 3 years old, remember they sat there, they were in the tub and they were breathing. They have this big Buddha
Yeah.
belly. And when they're at peace, hopefully, their chest didn't constrict, right?
No.
There was no movement here, it was all here. That's how you want to do it.
Even animals, don't they do that?
Yes, if you have a dog or a cat
Yeah,
and they
I've
lie
seen
on their
that.
sides, they breathe really low. Absolutely. Okay? But then we can't breathe that way, because when I came here, my belt is fairly loose, you see. Oh my God, even looser than I expected. Okay, but no, it's loose. If I stand, it will probably be too loose. It will start sagging down. But then I need to tighten it. But when I sit, I get bigger, so I loosen my belt. And many of you have had the experience, men more than women often report this, that when they go for a meal, and they eat a big meal, then it's nice to undo the button of your pants a bit. Okay. So now let's focus on breathing for one moment, okay? Because that really reflects also the tension here, the tension in your eyes. It's really interesting. You can take a quick gasp. No, do it again and freeze on top. Feel how your eyes want to open up more when you do that?
Yeah.
Feel the tension there? Can you feel the tension in your neck? Tension in the neck would reflect to the eyes. We don't know we do that, but we do it many times. If I breathe lower, that doesn't occur. So now what I'd like you to do is just exhale more from with your stomach going in. So think that your lungs are not in your chest, they're in your stomach. And here's this is a big muscle called the diaphragm. When you exhale, your stomach goes in and up. It pushes the diaphragm up, reducing the volume here, letting the air go out. Is that clear to all of you mechanically?
Yep.
It's a little like a car cylinder moving up and down. When you inhale, in the vertical position, then you let this relax in a way, unknowingly. It widens, and the air comes in. So you can see this when I'm doing it. Here I exhale, and then when I inhale, and I almost let it relax. And the air is just pulled in. So all of you put your hands on this area here, almost with your fingers at your lower groin almost. And now when you exhale, maybe make a sound like psss, and feel your stomach going in more. When there's nothing left, then let it all relax and let it spread out. Then let it get really big, and that should let the air come in almost by itself. Did that make sense? The other way you can feel it is as you exhale that way. Near the end of exhalation, try and get all the air out. You still stay straight. You almost feel your anus tightening. Your pelvic floor tightens. And then when you let it relax, You almost feel your anus going down a little bit in the chair. Did any of that make sense for any of
It's
you?
all good, and I'm being tickled during this, which you'd think I'd be sitting up straight, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like I'm doing
Because
this-
you tend during it, you tend to go down. Oh, you may need to readjust. You may have been too straight trying to set it up.
Yeah. Wow.
So why don't you just sit normal, like you're sitting, and I'll just change the setting. No, you're still okay. I'll do it a little differently. We'll do one more setting, okay? Here we are. You see it's calibrating.
Okay. So you're giving me a little more slouch.
I could give you more slouch. I would have
Is that what you just did? Otherwise, no.
I can change the slouch on my sensor setting.
Yeah. I don't necessarily want you to though. This
Okay.
is
No, I can set it so it can make you need more slouch before you get tickled.
okay.
And the tickle is always 5 seconds delayed.
Yeah. So it means if going forward, if I get tickled, it's even more slouch than I thought.
I will do that for you.
No, I just got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably, I didn't change it yet. I just recalibrated it.
Okay.
So the key is you want to breathe more lower here. If I do that, then I also free my neck more.
I realize that since I do a lot of shallow breathing, the moment you start me to focus on my breathing, I start yawning.
Yes.
It's almost like now I know I need more air.
Yes. And the key is usually we don't need more oxygen. We often think we need more oxygen. We just need to exhale slower. So, you can almost let your hands be here and it's like,
You say exhale slower.
yes. So basically, if you think of a wave, the inhale, and then the exhalation goes, at the end of exhalation, it's almost like a pause. And then let the inhale occur again. That's in the vertical position because you use gravity that way.
Find it?
When you are, for self-practice in the beginning, I would do it lying down, and then I would put a weight on your stomach. I don't know if you've done that this time.
No, not yet.
You put a 5-pound weight on your stomach right here. You're lying totally flat. And so now you do the inverse, because gravity is pushing this way. So now when you inhale, you push your stomach away from you. And then when you exhale, gravity, the weight will just let the air flow out. And ideally, you want to only breathe through your nose. Because the nose filters the air, moisturizes it, and produces nitric oxide inside the nasal cavity, which causes the airways to open up and act as an antiviral, antibacterial. So it will improve you, so that is a piece. But the key is we're really unaware how we are reacting. Let me just show one, I'll do 2 more things about muscle. I'll do it about muscle, about neck and shoulder, because it's so important that we hold so much tension here. If you hold tension in our hips, we hold tension here. We're a system. So let me just do one for fun. And again, we use biofeedback for it. Who wants to be a guinea pig? You want to be a subject?
Sure.
I just want to add something to what you said. If you lie in your stomach and you breathe, there is the resistance of the earth, of the floor.
Yeah, and you push your body up, right. That's another way of doing it. You can lie on your tummy. For some people that's harder because the head has to be turned to the side one way or the other.
There's a yoga posture where you lie on the floor and then it's the alligator pose and you push your tummy into the ground.
When you inhale.
Like the alligator.
Yes, that's during inhalation.
Yes.
And then you want to just let yourself totally relax during the exhalation. Now you're being squeezed. That works well if you have a slightly bigger stomach. If you're really skinny, then it doesn't work as well. Because then you end up on the ribs and the hips more. Okay. But let me just show you in your case, okay? If I ever get this all set up. Good luck. There we are.
You know what is this called? This
This is muscle biofeedback. This will be looking at the muscle tension. So I'll put a sensor, for example, on your shoulder here, okay? You have to loosen it a tiny bit if that's okay. Great. I mainly do social acceptable monitoring. Okay? We can put it anywhere on any muscle. We can put it, it's sometimes really useful And I could show that for people who have glaucoma around the eyes, because you could think of glaucoma, you have high tension, low tension glaucoma, and Mayo knows much more about it than me. And a component of glaucoma is also a whole tension in the face. If a whole tension and the von Schlemm canals may be squeezed and the fluids can't quite go out. That maybe, so you can think of glaucoma, I get too much, in the high tension glaucoma, I got too much fluid going in, not enough going out. And if you can feel your eyes getting heavy and soft subjectively, which is really what you almost do with palming at times, that softness is relaxing the area in the face and eyes, and that may help reduce the pressure in the eyes. And I'll talk about a case for it in a moment, okay?
A wonderful case you have.
Yes. Okay. So this is your muscle tension of your shoulder. No, just let it. So you can see it here. You can also hear it at the moment. Now raise your right shoulder a bit. Okay? Okay. And now let it really be relaxed. Let it be totally off. I'm going to turn the sound off for a moment, okay? So he's pretty good, you see? Now what I'd like you to do is raise the shoulder till you're aware of the tension here. Just the minimum tension. He's here. Can you see it all?
Light?
You see the yellow? That's enough, let it go. And he came right back. Took it, no, he's not coming back yet. Let it go. Notice you took a while there, now you're back, right? So notice it took it a moment. But if you think about it, to be aware, you need all these lights, right?
Yeah.
Now what I'd like you to do is to train yourself to just go halfway.
Why won't you try it with my phone?
And now let it go. Let it drop.
Wow.
That's good, you see? Now bring it again halfway only. No, that's too far. Just in the middle there. Be aware of it. And let it go. And now do it again. And now we can see how well he has learned, you see? And you could say, that's very good. Notice you did a little, you became more aware of something.
Yeah.
That's biofeedback training. So the idea is during the day, instead of having to get tension like this, I can now be aware, I am
Tense.
tense before. The earlier you can be aware, just probably with the eyes the same way, the earlier I'm aware that I'm getting tension in the eyes, if I interrupt that, but usually what we do is we're not very trustworthy ourselves, in my experience, about awareness. And so we often say every half an hour I do a momentary break. And I would recommend. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you one more thing. I'd like you to make a fist with both hands. Notice what he did? Did I ask you to tighten your shoulders? And look what you did. You were not aware of it, right? That's called misdirected efforts of tension.
I didn't hear the sound.
No,
Oh.
he switched it off.
Sorry, I can do it. Do it.
I like to hear it.
It's out of my area, yes. Let it go, relax. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go more. Now make a fist with both hands again. So he's tightening unknowingly by making a fist. He is not just making a fist, he's slightly tightening his shoulders, which is what most people do. It's not a big problem. But if you're working at a computer, for example, or anywhere, you get this excessive. So you sometimes get tension in your neck and shoulders, I'm sure. Am I right?
Yeah.
And part of the reason I know that is because after you've tightened, it didn't drop right away down.
No.
It took a little while.
Yeah.
So what you can take home from that is after you use your arms so late, just shake around for a moment. And that will help you come down. And you didn't come down. Let the shoulder, feel the weight in your elbow. Let it just drop. Put your arms just on your lap, that's okay. Here, let me take your arm. Now you're working too hard.
You can't hide.
You see? I mean, you can't try too hard. It's sort of just like when you go to the bathroom. When, someone says, hurry up, pee, nothing works. I can't speak for you, but for most people.
You can do it for me, no problem.
What? Oh, we'll have to do the study with you. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can observe where you hold tension and where. So let me explain this in a similar way. I'll take this off. Maybe put it any muscle on your face or anywhere else. But this, I find this very useful to show how we're unaware of muscle tension, and we can become aware of it and learn it. Okay? So the case I can think of is a woman who had glaucoma, about a 24 to 28 eye pressure. We did a whole summer program. Many of that's really before I really knew Mayer's techniques, but really many of them were similar with Jerry Jampolsky. And,
Is she still alive or no?
I don't think so. We did a kind of kitchen sink approach, what I'll call it. And then she came to my office in Berkeley. We have an office, and we taught her how to let her eyes be soft, like the whole face just sink. And she could feel her eyes getting soft, like this subjectively. She lived in Marin, and I have an office in Berkeley. It took her 4 hours to go home that day. Wow. Without traffic.
Because?
But she's one of the rare people I know. I know a number of rare people. She got up, she felt her eyes were soft. By the time she got to the door, her eyes were hard. She stopped, let her eyes get soft. She got to her car across the street, her eyes were hard.
With the biofeedback?
Without biofeedback. She had now felt like we did,
Yeah.
somehow that sense that the eyes could feel like sinking through their sockets in a certain way.
Wow.
Okay? She started to drive down Derby Street. Within a half block, her eyes were hard. She pulled over, she stopped till her eyes were soft. She was on 880, the freeway. She also stopped 40 times on the Sonderfeld Bridge.
Wow.
In the emergency lane there.
Is it legal?
No. It probably wouldn't be whether it's legal or not, she did it. Within 2 weeks, her eyes were totally normal, tenses, she went off all meds for her eyes, for the glaucoma.
Within
2 weeks.
the eyes were what?
Normal. The eye tension became totally normal. She could discontinue all her drops.
And the glaucoma
disappeared.
disappeared.
And I'm not saying that will work for anybody else. I want to be very clear. It's a model which I think that we had some evidence for in a group, because
Beautiful.
about half the
It
people.
means it can work.
Half the people in the group that summer, their eye pressures went down significantly, massively in fact, and could go off medication. 3 of the people got worse. That's true also. 1 broke her leg in the study, and I think each of them, I could say there were psychosocial factors that led to frustration. But it's real data, and so I think it shows that there are possibilities. And the key is, if you have glaucoma, this is at least one. It may not apply to all levels of glaucoma. I don't know enough about it. But I'm totally persuaded that it has, and that's why really out of that kind of experience, I'm so impressed with Mayer's work. Because he really has integrated that out of research, and he has, data from his patients, how much it works. The key is practice.
Yeah.
And that is real challenging. Damn, I just want a drug. Give me a pill, it'll solve the problem. If that makes sense. And so if you think, but let me do a little exercise with you for people who have dry eyes. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Many people now suffer from dry eyes. Is that familiar? And as often we get older, we get dry eyes. So what I'd like you to do, I'm going to do a funny exercise. We've published that. I do a blog called pepperperspective.com, and in that, most of those are published articles, and this one we did on dry eyes. What I'd like you to do is just let your eyes be closed. Okay. And now what I'd like you to do in a moment is when you inhale, gasp with an inhalation, open your eyes wide like you're almost surprised. And hold it there almost, okay? And just observe what happens to your eyes. Can you feel getting colder a little bit? Getting almost drier? Is that familiar? Good. Let it go. Now forget it. Now close your eyes. Now I'd like you to breathe in your abdomen, in your stomach. Let the air come really deep. Let your stomach get really big without effort. And now let the air start flowing out. And as it flows out, slightly open your eyes and almost look through the eyelids. That's all. Just put a slight opening. You see your eyelashes, you don't care what you see. As if you're looking down in a way. You feel the eyes almost hanging out of your head, pulling down. And now when you need to inhale, close your eyes again. Let your stomach get bigger. And now when you exhale, let your shoulders drop, and as you then, while still looking down slightly, halfway through the exhalation, open your eyes slightly, very gently. You can just look through the eyelashes. You can almost feel this weight going down your eyes still, like you're almost sleepy. And now when you inhale, close your eyes again. And now when you exhale again, let the air start flowing out. And then you're halfway through the exhalation, open your eyes slightly. And repeat that 3 or 4 times at your rhythm. But let the exhalation go very slow. And when you need to inhale, always close your eyes again. And only let the exhalation flow. And only gently open your eyes like you don't care what you're looking at. I think that's enough. We don't do it many times. How many noticed that in that way you got a slight increase in moisture in your eyes?
I did.
Yeah, I feel it now.
I did. So listen, Erik, we have to finish as soon as possible.
Okay, great.
Because I was late, I'm sorry.
It's okay, let me finish this and then I'll make one completion statement.
Absolutely.
Okay, so basically the logic of this is that if you can start looking at the world with the slower breathing and be aware when a startle occurs, instead of going, oh my God, I don't care, I'm just very gently open, then I don't give sympathetic arousal. During sympathetic arousal, our eyes tend to dry up. During parasympathetic arousal, which is during the exhalation phase, we increase the criminal activity in the eyes. So it's purely biological. You could think
And
of it.
related to breathing?
Yes, breathing changes that physiology. We described, that's pretty well described, and I don't have time to go much for. So I would recommend for yourself to really be aware when any stressor occurs or you anticipate problems, breathe lower and always face the problem while you're exhaling slightly. Then you will not give that alarm reaction the same way, and your body can move to regeneration. So with that note, I hope you gave some flavors. You may enjoy many of these processes are described in the 2 books we have. And
The muscle biofeedback device can be used on any muscle in the body.
yes, but those are unique devices. They're like $500. So it's like, so I would think that I would use the upright. I think it's a very useful one to become aware. And the key is to be aware. Stress. It's really a longer title. It's the only way you find how technology is hijacking our lives. Or you put my name in it, it's easier. Erik Peper with 1 P.